Are you ready for the annual Social Connections Summit? It's happening August 5th and 6th. This year's summit theme is all about building trust and connecting authentically. That's in both your personal and professional life. Experts, coaches, and social wellness practitioners from all over are going to gather to this one spectacular event to help bring the joy of connection, community, and camaraderie to you. If in your personal life you feel unsupported with your current social circles, or if you don't have a group of peers that are close to you in age and share your interests and lifestyles, if you feel shyness or anxiety when meeting new people, this event is for you. It's going to help you improve your personal life. And in your professional life, if you feel more like an outsider than a team member in the workplace, if you feel like you don't have peers at work that know what's important to you, or if you feel like you always have to go along to get along, you need to be at this event. I promise you, you will leave empowered with skills and knowledge to create the social, emotional support that you need in both your personal and professional life. You don't have to just be friendly at work. You can actually be friends. Come find out how. Don't wait. Get your tickets now. VIP ticket holders will receive private, personalized one-to-one coaching session from up to 3 different coaches of their choosing. That's right. VIP ticket holders will receive private, personalized coaching. If you've been afraid to invest in a coach, this is your opportunity to test drive. If you want an experiential learning environment like none other, where you're going to gain insight from world-class professionals, be empowered by personality tests like the Enneagram and DISC assessments, and have an opportunity to network and share your experiences with others who feel exactly as you do, get yourself to the annual Social Connections Summit happening August 5th and 6th. Go to patternsofpossibility.com to get your tickets, or check the link in the show notes. I'll see you there. Hey, what's going on? My name's Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to talk about changing that one thing. How many of you out there believe or have heard that there is something about you that needs to change in order to find those connections that you need? If you were just a little louder, if you were just a little more forceful, if you were just a little quieter, people would like you. Then you would have those relationships, friendships that you want in your life. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not just one thing. I'm going to share with you my experiences and what I discovered about this one thing and how this one thing kept showing up in my life and disappointing me every time I tried to change it. I hope that you don't get caught in this trap. So we're going to talk about what we can do to get out of that loop, to break that pattern and turn it into a new possibility. Are you ready? Let's go. So one of the things that I thought that was really important about developing relationships was eating together. And you could blame this all on the fact that I grew up in the 90s and I watched those cheesy 90s TV shows, you know, like Urkel and Full House. It's not even Urkel, I think it's Family Matters, and Full House, and those other shows that showcased, I think, Boy Meets World, that showcased families sitting around tables, eating, laughing, talking, and resolving all their issues in 30 minutes. They have the worst problems, and at most, they probably have a sequel episode. So they do it in 60 minutes. And I just believe that's the way families should operate. That's the way relationships should operate. I've learned in my older years, after some therapy, is that whatever patterns you learn within your family dynamic, you take those and you apply those to any other relationship that you create, whether it be romantic, whether it be your social relationships with your bosses or your friendships. You're going to take that and apply it. And I thought that, you know, that one thing that one common thing about the relationships in the TV shows, that one thing that they had was that they ate together and they talked and they had a great time. And even if they were angry with each other, they'd be able to talk it out, resolve it. The other person would be understanding. And I thought the reason why they were able to do that is because they sat down and they ate together. Nothing else, no other social skills, no other emotional intelligence, none of that. It was just the table and the food. And I look back on that, I think, wow, that's silly, but that was my mindset. I was focused. And so I took that dynamic, that relationship dynamic, that loving family that I saw on TV and tried to recreate it first in my own household with my family. And I was just unsuccessful with that because I didn't have any skills. There was emotional intelligence involved and social wellness involved in doing those things. So I didn't have the skills to do that. So I thought, well, it's just not supposed to be friends with family. I'm not supposed to do that. So I'll go out and I'll try to do this thing, change this one thing, create the dynamic around this one thing, eating with my friends, meeting people and trying to cook with them, trying to go to meals together, because after all, that's what we did. And of course, there was drinking involved. But cooking together, eating together, and drinking together, I thought that the more we did that, the better relationships I would have. As long as I just do that, because that was what I saw on TV. I had no other representation or models of what a good relationship looked like. I just didn't have any. I looked around in my neighborhood. I looked around in my family. I looked around at people outside of my family, and I just thought, well, they've got it all. I don't know what's going on inside of their relationships. Perhaps they look like they were on TV to me. But the point is, eating together, drinking together, and being together around the table of food was supposed to be the one thing that created lasting relationships for me, real great connections. And I was successful in finding some of those people, but my relationships just fell apart. The friendships, relationships, they just fell apart. And the main reason was not because we're eating together, because, that's what we did, but it fell apart because I wasn't myself. I wasn't being myself. I wasn't feeling safe and comfortable. That piece that happens on the TV shows where they eat together, they start talking about their day, but without ridicule, without backbiting, with support, with encouragement. That stuff didn't come naturally to me to do for anyone. It didn't come naturally for me to do, and I didn't really receive it from people. And if I did receive it from the friends or the connections that I've had, I didn't notice it at all. I was so used to not getting my needs met, not being safe in conversation, not being able to open up and be authentic and honest. So I created the same dynamic. I created the same dynamic of being quiet, being sad, keeping my accomplishments to myself, and downplaying other people's accomplishments. Don't you dare tell me how you've done something well. I will be like, ugh, it's not a big deal. I would do that. And I wondered why my relationships fell apart. It wasn't about that one thing of eating together. It was about being open, honest, and allowing other people to also be open and honest. And I discovered that the only way that I could possibly do that is if I really took some time to do my own self-reflection. So if you're out there thinking maybe there's one thing that you can change, somebody has told you that you're too loud, you're too obnoxious, you're too rude, you're too quiet, you play too many video games, you do too much, you do too little, you're not enough, you're way too much, any of those variations, and you thought, oh, well, if I just change this one thing, if I just do this one thing different, I'll find the connections, the relationships, the friendships that I've always wanted. If I just move enough, these people aren't my people. If I just move to this place, if I just stop talking to that person, if I just wear this t-shirt, if I just wear these pants, if I just watch this TV show, then I would connect with those others. I'm here to tell you that it's not really one thing. It's not one thing. It's not just one thing that you need to change to be connected to people. It's not an action item. If someone's telling you that you're too much, then you may be too much for them, and that's too bad for them. It's the mindset around it. If you want to make better connection with others, you really have to start with yourself. Develop a nice, loving relationship with who you are. An understanding of the things that you like, the things that are important to you. You want to understand what those are. And then you want to be honest about that expression of those things. So an example is, if you really like Pokemon, I don't know why I come back to this example, but I love to talk about Pokemon. If you really like Pokemon and you want to share that with somebody and they laugh at you, oof, what do? Do you change? You decide you never like Pokemon again? Maybe when you were a kid and you had very little sense of self, but now you're an adult, you're grown up, you know what you like, you know what's important to you. The thing is, we get stuck because we think that if we stop liking Pokemon or whatever thing that others discover that they don't like about us or dislike about us or tell us that we shouldn't, we believe that if we change that one thing, that we can gain their favor and we will be connected. We'll have great relationships with them. What needs to happen, what really creates the lasting relationship, is discovering that you like what you like and you do it for the joy of yourself. Instead of changing, instead of hiding what you do like, what's important to you and special to you, instead of hiding that, you talk about it authentically, because you get stuck in a pattern of hiding the thing that's important to you. While you're hanging out with people, physically present, they're with you, they're sitting at the table with you, eating food, drinking, and you think that you're having a good time or you're happy that there are people around you, but inside, they don't really get an opportunity to know you. And you don't really get an opportunity to shine. You don't get an opportunity to show. You're afraid. So you stay there and you be quiet and you're thinking, oh, thank goodness. I've got friends around me. I got people, but they don't really know you. Not deep down. And you feel a loneliness that comes with it. This is my experience, by the way. This is definitely my experience. I call it the cycle of loneliness. And by the way, I'll be talking about this at the annual Social Connection Summit this weekend. I'll be talking about how to break out of it, what it is, how it shows up, and how to break out of it so that you can really connect with people authentically. Don't be stuck there. It's not just one thing that you need to change. It's this understanding of yourself, and it is many steps. There are many things that you want to know about yourself. Know as much of yourself as possible and be comfortable and confident in that. And here's the thing. If you don't know how to do that, it's likely because you've never been in an environment where it's been safe for you to express yourself authentically. The deep, important, exciting, interesting, fearful, angering, sad things about who you are, you've never been in an environment where you can express those without somebody telling you you're wrong. Change it. Fix it. And you develop that mindset. It's just one thing I need to change. It's just one thing for everybody. You need to change this and change that. Don't change. Acknowledge you. Acknowledge who you are. Be comfortable with opening up. Be comfortable with sharing your truth. And that's the way you'll make the lasting friendships that I'm talking about. That's the way people really get to know you. People will choose you once you start being authentic. And I know it's scary because you've faced so much rejection before. You've faced so much disdain that you just wanted to be quiet. But guess what? It gets hard to be there. It gets more difficult to be in a space where you feel like nobody knows you rather than have people say they don't like you. You'll get to that point, perhaps like I did. That was one of the catalysts that helped me change. It sucked. It was terrible. Just feeling like nobody knew me or cared about me. I don't feel that way anymore. I know that there are people who demonstrate that they care about me and my well-being. And you want people like that. It's not just one thing that's going to change for them. You acknowledge who you are and accept that. And I want to help you do that. My coaching is based on creating an experience to help you feel like you're able to share your fears, your frustration, your sadness, and especially that joy that you have inside for some random thing that other people just don't understand. It's beautiful. It's magnificent. When you speak, it is a gift that you share with another person. I want you to have that mindset, and I help you create that by creating an experience for you to share and be appreciated for it. And once you have this experience, you'll never settle for less than what you desire. So if you're interested in working with me, check the link in the show notes to have a friendly conversation with me. And I'm not going to try to sell you. I'm just going to do everything that I talked about here in this podcast episode. I'm going to tell you that you're awesome for sure, because you are. The expression of who you are is a gift to me. And I'm going to give you some practical tips to help you in any challenge that you're facing these days. So check out the link in the show notes, and remember that it's not just one thing. It's not. I'll be right back with the answer Reddit question. All right, now it's time for the Reddit friendship advice question. If you have a friendship advice question that you think I should answer, tag me in it on Reddit. My handle is Brilliant and Resilient. That's Brilliant, the letter N, Resilient. Help, please. Why do my friends disregard me? It's a typical thing to say, and I'd understand why you'd call me negative, but all my friends don't seem to fully care. I'm genuinely not a bad person, and even cynical lost friends wouldn't particularly say otherwise. In groups, at least 80% of the time, I'm either completely ignored after people blatantly listen to me, or I'm saying something and halfway through they'll turn around and act like I was never speaking. Oof. Even my so-called best friend does it. I get I'm not the first choice, but it still confuses me. People ignore me or make up lies to make sure everyone else is busy before they agree to see me. The past few years, I've started to think it has been me, but people always insist I'm okay and I don't need to change, even when I ask them privately. Honestly, it feels like they forget I exist until in the last resort. I don't know what to do, as I actually really like these people, but they're also basically the only people I have in my life right now. But it always feels like a one-way street. Any input, please. All right, poster. That's really a tough situation to go through. Really difficult, feeling like 80% of the time you get ignored when you're in groups. You're hanging out with these people, and there's something that they're rejecting about you, and they're telling you, no, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And your instinct, though, is kicking in. It's like, well, if it's not a big deal, then why don't you listen to me when I talk? Why aren't you engaging with me? Why don't you reach out to me? You know, those things. And you want somebody to reach out to you. That's what a friend is supposed to do. So the reason why I picked this one is because it seems like people are telling you there's nothing that you need to change, but they're giving you all of these signals. They're giving you all these signs that there's something about you that they don't want to hang out with, and you're the last resort. I kind of got tripped up on the sentence where you said, I get that I'm not the first choice, but it still confuses you. Yeah, your intuition is really kicking in here. And what I say, intuition is your feeling. I just like to say the intuition is feeling about an event that has happened in your space. So somebody ignores you. You have a feeling about that. It feels like rejection, anger, sadness. It feels like that, but your intuition's like, hey, this doesn't feel good. Hey, this doesn't feel good. And you smooth it over with, oh, they're my friends. They're hanging out with me. We're here. And it doesn't really compute. It's not really an alignment. Your intuition's like, hey, these people, they don't, we don't need to brown these people. And you even said that these are the only people you have in your life right now. I imagine that because these are the only people that you have in your life, I'm imagining that you're a bit younger, because as an adult, we kind of have the autonomy. Even, I want to say adults are so special because they have the choice. Like, they're not in high school and they're not around people that they have to be around. They don't have to go to class with people. They don't have to stay in these grades with people and be with them for most of the day. We don't have to do that. We have a job, right? We, as adults, we will have a job and we can interact with our coworkers, but at the end of the day, we decide whether or not we want to interact with them and how much we want to interact with them. And after that, we can leave. And even if we don't like the job, we have the autonomy to actually leave that too. So you're in a position that makes me think that you're a little younger and you are stuck with some goofy people. Those aren't your words, but I'm going to say goofy. You're stuck in this situation just to make a bit of a light of it. This might be one of those situations that people would think that they need to change something about who they are to fit in with these people. And that's not the angle that you're pushing. I applaud you for that. I applaud you for that fully. This is not the angle that you're pushing. Like, should I be different? Should I change? What don't they like about me? Those aren't the questions that you're asking. It seems that you have a really full understanding of your friends disregarding you. The very first sentence, why do my friends disregard me? If I had to answer that question, I would say that you're talking about something that they just can't understand or can't relate to. And that is not a bad thing. That is you expressing your truth or your interests and your ideas to them. And they just can't relate to it. They just can't. So they don't know how to deal with it. And they may just not talk. They may not know how to join in the conversation. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just they're not on the same page. I want you to consider it from that angle. We're not trying to think about what your friends might think or feel or how they might be this or that. No, they're also not being honest and open and speaking their truth to you, because if they wanted to ignore you, they wouldn't keep you around. I mean, they would tell you how they really felt about, the experience with you. They would give you some actionable feedback or something. If they really cared about developing a relationship with you, they'd be saying, hey, I don't understand what you're talking about. Can you slow it down? I'm genuinely curious about what's going on. They don't do that. So from you looking on the outside, there's nothing, looking out towards them, there's nothing wrong with what you're saying, because they're not telling you that there's anything wrong, right? But you're picking up this intuition that they don't want to be around you. For actually actionable advice, what I would say is pay attention to what you're talking about. That makes people do this. What do they talk about and what do you talk about? What's important to you that they may not jump in on the conversation with because you're completely ignored, they may not understand, or halfway through it, they turn around and act like you were never speaking. What are you talking about that generates that kind of impact? This is for you and your own awareness, because you want to do that and you want to talk to other people. You don't want to talk to them. You want to talk to people who are like, oh, I'm going to turn towards you. You're speaking my language. You're talking about something that's interesting to me, right? That's what I would like you to do, is to figure out what it is that gets that reaction. You got to pay really close attention to what they do, what you're saying, and when they do this turnaround thing. And then you really notice that they are not reaching out to you. You know that they are all talking to each other behind your back. It doesn't feel good. I'd like you to do some reflection about that. Are they really the only people that you have in your life right now? Do they have to be? Much like I was sitting around the table with people and eating and drinking, I wasn't able to be my authentic self because I really didn't know what it was that I wanted to express to them. It seems like you may want to, what you want to express, and people just aren't receiving it. It might be a much easier journey for you if you let go of them believing, or let go of the idea that they're interested in you. They're giving you all of the signs and signals that they're not. Your intuition is kicking off. It's like, hey, this sucks. What are you doing here? You just turned around while you were talking. They don't ask you to hang out. They do they ask you whenever, they don't have anything else going on. And you know this. It's a grand illusion that you have people physically present that makes you connected, that makes you feel like you're not alone. Because, man, I think that you would enjoy hanging out with yourself, exploring more about that stuff that you talk about, whatever it is, learning more about it, and finding communities of people online to talk about those things until you can get to a space in which you can meet other people to talk about those things. Be intentional about going to places where people are interested in what you're interested in. These people are clearly not. You don't have to waste your time and energy trying to get them to see you authentically. They just can't. Redditor, thank you so much for asking your question. I know that you didn't ask me to answer it, but I did, and I hope that it helps. Best of luck to you. Take care. My name is Coach Lee Hopkins, and you have been listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. You can find me at patternsofpossibility.com and on all social media at Patterns of Possibility. And as always, I want to encourage you to be yourself, live your truth, and there you'll make lasting friendships.